longtime lurker here, and I always contemplated telling my story. I feel like I am finally ready to revisit that time in my life. Maybe that is because my mother finally forgave herself. I was 10 years old, just started 5th grade. I made a new friend in school, Janie. My parents allowed me to go for a sleepover at her house. They met her mom once. My mom and dad were pretty laid back because I was their first kid. My sisters were 9 to 13 years older than me. So my mom dropped me off, said hello to Janie's mom, and left. Me and Janie started playing karaoke when her mom decided she was going to leave. She said goodbye to us, gave us kisses on the cheek, and I remember thinking she smelled like black licorice. Me and Janie were left to do whatever we wanted for the next 5 hours. Janie's older sister came home around 1 a.m. and told us that we should go to bed because we were falling asleep on the couch. So we went into Janie's room and laid in her bed. Later that night, I can't be sure what time because it was pitch dark, Janie's mom came home. I woke up to a pounding sound on Janie's bedroom door. I started yelling in fear when I felt a hand over my mouth. It was Janie telling me to be quiet and pretend to be asleep. But at the moment, it was too late. Her mom had kicked the door open, stormed over to the bed and grabbed Janie's face. She began screaming at Janie because we accidentally left the TV on. I was trying to hide under the covers, but she saw me. She began slamming her fist on the bed around me and screamed,
"You think you are better than me?"
over and over. I was sobbing, and all I could think about was going home. I was so scared, and I begged her mom to let me call my parents because I felt sick. Her mom grabbed my chin, looked me in the eyes and said,
"I know what you're doing, little girl, and you aren't going anywhere until I say you can."
She stormed out of the room, slamming the half-broken bedroom door behind her. Janie said nothing, and neither did I. Needless to say, I did not sleep that night. In the morning when I went to call my mom, Janie's mom was on the phone. She wouldn't let me use it, even though I asked multiple times. Finally, she was going to take a shower and I heard her pass the phone off to Janie's sister and say,
"Don't let that little bitch use my phone. If you do, I ain't buying you cigarettes anymore."
I was a sheltered kid at the time, but when I overheard that, I knew I had to get out of there. I approached Janie's sister and she basically threw the phone at me. She was ready to give it to me before I even asked for it. With a look of fear in her eyes, she said,
"My mom is calling her guy, so you need to call your home now."
And so I did. She saved my life, and I still believe that to this day. Was her guy someone who was going to get rid of me? I shudder at the thought. The rest of the story isn't very exciting. My mom picked me up. I acted like nothing was wrong. 2 days later, it was Parents' Day in school. Janie was in my class, which meant her mom was there. Her mom approached me and asked me why I never wanted to come over anymore, and accused me of being a mean girl. She talked to me in a way that seemed harmless, therefore wasn't obvious to my mom or my teacher. I kept my mouth shut and didn't say a word. Well, until 2 weeks later. My older sister was babysitting me while our parents were at the movies, and I broke down and told her what had happened because I couldn't stop thinking about it. She comforted me and told my parents. We hugged each other and we cried. A couple weeks later, Janie stopped coming to my school. My classmates wondered what happened, and so did I. I didn't want to ask my parents what happened. 15 years later, I heard from Janie on Facebook. There was no life-changing conversation, but we exchanged pleasantries. That's life sometimes. So crazy, alcoholic, abusive mother. Let's never meet again. This happened a couple years back to a friend and I. We were about 14 then. I was sleeping over at my friend's house and we were watching a movie in the living area. We lived in a nice area where there was almost no crime, and she lived in a small neighborhood almost no one passed through. We always kept the doors locked though, just in case. About midway through the movie, we heard a car pull up near the house. We didn't think much of it because her father was at work and we thought he came home. We were wrong. Someone started knocking on the door. Her father had a key, so it couldn't have been him. I told my friend Cameron I was going to look through the peephole. I looked out and saw a man about mid-40s standing at the door. He was dirty looking and scratching his head, arms and chest. I thought that he must be on some type of drugs because he had wild eyes. I walked back to the couch where Cameron was and I sat with her. I thought the guy had left because there was no sound outside. Just after I thought everything was fine, the door handle started to shake. The man was trying to get inside the house. Mine and my friend's eyes widened in fear. I told her to turn off the TV and go behind the couch just in case there was anywhere he could see through.
I want in.
Was the line that got my heart racing extremely fast. At this point, he was banging on the door.
I want in.
He kept yelling. Clearly, this man would not give up on trying to get into the house. Cameron was pretty much on the verge of tears, and I couldn't breathe. Luckily, Cameron's father had come home, and the car coming in scared the guy off. We ran to her dad and told him what had happened, and he called the cops, even though there was not much they could do. I stayed the rest of the night, but in the morning, when I went home, I told my mom and told her the cops were called. My friend was horrified to be at her house alone for a while, so she slept over at my house every night. We never saw that man around anymore, which is why I was thankful. That had to be one of the most horrifying moments I had ever experienced. Some crazy crackhead tried to break into my friend's house while we were having a sleepover. Hey guys, just a little update. We would like to give a shout out to Nancy Michio for commenting gold to 994 during the competition videos, and she came in 3rd place, so we really appreciate everybody participating. And we would also like you guys to check out our other channel, Once Upon a Nightmare. We will put the link in the description. If anyone would want to check out the community tab to see who else won, or for those who may have been winners and don't know they won yet, check out the community tab. We posted something there a couple days ago announcing all the winners and prizes and whatnot. And yeah, thank you all for participating. If you want to check out our 2nd channel, it will be in the link. There'll be a link in the description below.
Hey, this is the Grimtail Brothers. Make sure you like and subscribe for more.